Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing so that you get notified when we post future videos. Like this video, that's the only thing I'll ever ask you to do. If you're looking for indicators, robots, systems and stuff like that, visit our blogs. Links are in the description box below. Go through them and see if you cannot find what you're looking for. Okay, let's get into today's video. So thanks to the recent videos that I posted, I also got a question. How do you actually go about suing a forex broker? How do you go about suing a forex broker? Leave a comment in the comment section below if you ever wanted to sue a forex broker. So first of all, this is general advice, and also note that different countries, different regions handle these problems differently. So this is going to be just generic advice. If you need proper legal help, I'll advise that you find a lawyer who deals with the financial sector in the region or country where you are. There's a reason why some of these brokers are not based in the US, are not based in the UK or Australia or Canada, but are based in countries like Cyprus, Malta and Seychelles and things like that. So there are some legal implications why they do that. So how do you go about suing your forex broker? First of all, let's make things clear. I think many of the problems that you might encounter with brokers from the onset can be avoided if people learn to read through terms and conditions. Most of the challenges, most of the problems that you actually encounter with service providers, not just with forex brokers, usually because people do not take time to read through terms and conditions before you enter legal agreements. Take time to just go through the terms and conditions and see how they affect you, so that before you sign and deposit your hard-earned cash, you understand and you know you are agreeing to these conditions. The problem is, most of us, we want to go through the terms and conditions only when things have gone south. Only when things have gone sour, that's when we try to pull out the terms and conditions and the contracts. But then sometimes we realize that we signed to these things that we are actually discovering. So I'll say, before you sign anything else, so that you avoid future legal problems, it's advisable that you actually read and understand the terms and conditions and understand what you are signing yourself into. If you are not clear, if you don't understand all that legal talk or the terminology and the legal speak, like most of us, probably get a lawyer or a legal advisor or an attorney or somebody to just explain some of these things to you before you sign. Then we also need to accept that there are some things that, of course, they might bother us, but are not exactly illegal per se. For example, things like manipulating price to a certain degree, underlined to a certain degree, it's actually legitimate because they are market makers. So the market making part is actually playing around with price. So that's why you find that most brokers at news time, they widen the spread. At the close of day, they widen spread, and those are sort of accepted norms in the industry. So some of those things you cannot sue the broker for that. Then of course there comes with situations where really you have a scam broker, or a broker who is out to get you, who is out to defraud you. For example, you get a broker whose Of course, of course, if you compare all the charts, like the chart that you're looking at right now, for fix with this broker, if you go to another broker, the candles might not be exactly the same. It happens. You'll find that the Oanda feed is different to the FXCM feed, is different to sorry about that, is different to XNS, is different to that next broker and stuff like that. That's why people tend to analyze their stuff on TradingView. That's why people sometimes don't analyze on MetaTrader with their broker, but usually go to TradingView because it's more trusted, because the feed that you get with your broker might actually be slightly altered. Some of those is still allowed, but there will be extreme cases where there are obvious differences, like obvious differences. Case in point is what used to happen here in South Africa. Go through the videos, you'll find some of these videos with one of these brokers who was actually manipulating candlesticks. So you find that when the rest of the world is in a downtrend, with this broker the market will be in an uptrend or something like that. So if you find that this broker is certainly scamming you, and one other key area where people have disagreements with brokers is when it comes to withdrawals. For example, if you deposit your money, if you are transferring your Bitcoin, if you are transferring your money into this broker's account, it's so simple to do. But when it comes to withdrawals, you find that it's a headache. They start demanding all this documentation. They suddenly want you to submit the things that they never asked you to do before. And they might come up with all these tricks to delay payment. It's a business. That's what businesses do. So how do you go about then suing this broker or trying to get your money back from this broker? First of all is you might want to use the internal processes that are allowed by the broker. Every broker, every company has an internal grievance process. So you might want to first exhaust that. Bear in mind, it might take a few weeks, so you need to be prepared for that. If it's a withdrawal complaint, if it's a whatever complaint that you have with the broker, many of them have an internal grievance process. So you might need to exhaust that and make sure you have exhausted it. If you have exhausted it and you still did not get a satisfactory outcome, then that's where you probably need to venture outside and find a way to get your grievance solved. So say you have exhausted the broker's internal grievance procedure and nothing came out of it because the broker is having none of it. They just want to keep your money, or they don't want to listen to you and stuff like that. Then it's time to engage the law. So there are two routes that you might take. First, there is the court system, definitely criminal procedures, or you might actually want to also go with the government agency route. For example, in many markets there will be regulators who regulate the financial markets. For example, in South Africa is Financial Services Board, I think FSB, I think In the UK, it's almost like that Financial Services Authority or something like that. There will be a financial services regulator in every market. So you might want to gather as much evidence concerning your case. It's crucial that you have enough solid evidence regarding your particular case that you can present to the government agency that this broker is a scam and they do not pay you your money. Bear in mind, when it comes to government departments, things might take years. So it helps if you have all the evidence. It helps if you have all the conversations, transfers, everything that you had communicated with the broker to try and resolve the issue, and why you believe that broker is a scam or you believe they've defrauded you. I apologize if there is noise in the background, because the moment you decide to make a video, then everyone starts driving past your house. So gather as much evidence, conversations you had with them, emails, evidence of the manipulation, if it's manipulation, evidence of the complaint. Basically, have a solid case as a base for your complaint. Then the government department will certainly look at that evidence and decide whether there is a credible case against the particular broker or there is none. Is there solid evidence to red flag that particular broker, or there is none? If there is evidence, they will usually issue a statement warning members of the public against trading with that particular company or that particular broker, and in some cases would actually institute a process where they might end up liquidating or forcing that company to shut down. So they'll freeze all their accounts and institute liquidation, where most of the clients will have to then submit their claims as part of the liquidation, and hopefully for every dollar that you submitted, that you put into that broker, maybe certainly you might end up getting a portion of it. That's the reality of these things. Sometimes you cannot expect to get every dollar that you put into the broker. Sometimes you might settle for a 50 cents for every penny, for every dollar, or 75 cents for every dollar. In some cases even less. Maybe you might get 30 cents for every dollar that you gave them, but it's something. Or you might actually want to pursue the court system. Again, what you need is a good lawyer who understands financial laws, and certainly you will need to provide enough evidence. And bear in mind that some of these companies are in foreign jurisdictions. Where they feel that your letters in your country cannot get hold of them. So it's important that you have somebody who understands the law, international law when it comes to international financial flows, and also somebody who is determined. You need to be a determined somebody, because some of these things will not happen in 2 days. It's a process. Some of these things might not happen in 2 days, which brings me to the next point. You need to determine whether it's worth it, because it's probably going to happen over 2-3 years. So is it worth it? And it's probably going to cost you some money. Sorry about that. And it's probably going to cost you some money in legal fees, in legal processes and stuff like that. So you probably need to decide for yourself whether it's worth it. Is the money that you're pursuing worth the headache? Is it worth the legal fees that your lawyer is going to charge you? Is it worth all the energy that you are going to put into it? If the broker ran away with your $100, again, I'll say probably let it go. It's your money. Of course, you are mad, you are angry, but let it go. You've learned your lesson. Then certainly warn others and don't deposit with that broker again. Find a broker that's reliable. Read reviews, understand terms and conditions, and yeah, get somebody who is regulated. Don't go for a broker that's just sitting somewhere and is not regulated and probably has got bad reviews. Now information is available and free on the internet, so go and read through reviews about particular brokers before you sign up. So if it's $100, if it's $1,000, even if it's $1,000, I'll say probably learn your lesson, dust yourself up, and move on. Probably when the monies go up to $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 US dollars, I think then it might be worth pursuing, because you don't want to have a case to pursue these people for several years, and at the end of the day you only recover, say, out of your 1,000, you only recover 500 rand, $500, and your legal fees are more than $3,000. Then it wasn't worth the effort. Then certainly it wasn't worth the effort. So you need to determine for yourself whether $500 and your legal fees are more than $3,000, then it wasn't worth the effort. Then certainly it wasn't worth the effort. So you need to determine for yourself whether it's going to be worth it before you actually pursue these people. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have thoughts, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd like to hear what you think. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Until next time, bye.